Oh, yes. For those of you that realize where I'm at, I'm where the magic happens. I'm telling you right now, the best thought processes that occur in my life happen in little tiny shacks. And don't dismiss that, all right? And there's a reason that you shouldn't dismiss the fact that I do my best thinking in a tiny little shack. This is the Tiki Lounge. This is where everybody has their bourbon, 530 bourbon, and a lot of great discussions with the elders happening here. It's always a good time. But nevertheless, I don't want you to be discouraged because of the background you see. Don't let that deter you from the knowledge I'm about to bestow on you, okay? This is just where I do my best thinking. And I will remind you, Bill Gates started in a shack. Many entrepreneurs that you guys follow this day and age started in a dorm room, probably smaller than this shack. For example, Amazon started in a tiny little room, all right? It wasn't this big operation you see today. And so these words of wisdom, I hope they don't fall on deaf ears. People go, well, Derek, how are you so confident you're going to prevail? Because I don't lose fights when I'm in the right. It just doesn't happen, all right? Whether it be physical or mental, I don't lose. I don't know how to quit, all right? And I'll start out by saying ignorance of the law excuses no man, for all men are responsible for knowing the contracts they enter into. And I've got some treasonous rat bastards falsifying a record into a court, creating fraud upon a court, and I'm going to nail their asses to the wall. I gave them fair warning. I gave them plenty of opportunity to recant their bullshit. I gave them plenty of opportunity to walk the fuck away. I even gave them an opportunity when they wanted a contract with me. I said, give me $2.5 million, vacate the case, and we'll call it a day. No harm, no foul. I'll let it go. But you know what they said? Fuck you. You're never going to beat us. Oh, but it's so easy to destroy your deck of cards. Your little house of cards, with just the slightest utterance out of my mouth, will destroy your entire fucking fallacy of having any control over the people, men and women, period. All right? And that's about as much as I'm going to say about that. But know this. I've already won, ladies and gentlemen. There's a reason I'm cocky, because my man Kid Rock says, it's not cocky if you can back it up. And believe you me, I can back up every fucking thing I'm saying verbatim. All right? So, what I want to do is build your confidence and get you to a position in your life where you can tell them, fuck off. Leave me the fuck alone or else. All right? And it's just a polite way of telling them, if you value your assets, if you value the lifestyle you have, although you fleece many of millions of ignorant fools a year in a $10 trillion industry that's never been on Forbes magazine, then leave me and mine the fuck alone, because it will not be a good day for you. This intellectual knowledge did not come to me easily, all right? I had to get through all the fucking silly fucking bullshit that you guys are trenching through now. I'll show you something. People go, all these constitutions don't apply. You're right. You're not a signature to the you're not a signature to the contract. You're not a party to it. However, they are, and you can smack their ass with it. All right. So, a little while back, being the intuitive little shit that I am, I went up to the Secretary of State's office. All right, and I got me one of these. It's a certified copy by the Secretary of State's office, all right? It's certified. Got it right from her. Pulled it right out of her binder and gave it to me. From the secretary there at the Secretary of State's office. I'd sure like to have that. And she, without hesitation, said, I'll get another one. I'll give you mine. You mean you're going to give me the one right out of your book? Yep, right out of my book. It's yours. Sweet. Article 1, Bill of Rights, Statement of Rights. All persons are by nature free and independent. Now, what part of free and independent says you must comply and conform to statutes, codes, city ordinances, rules, and regulations? Nowhere in there does it say you must comply with our bullshit propaganda system hell-bent on fleecing you and destroying the American values and the American way of life. It says, all persons are by nature, equitable by nature, not characteristic, nature, God-given unalienable rights, free and independent. Independent of what? Contracting with all these corporations. You are free and independent to do whatever the fuck you want, including telling them, fuck off. And have certain inherent and inalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and the right to keep and bear arms. Not firearms, arms. Firearms is a federally defined term. All right? Now, I don't even call them arms. They may be my tactical defense tools. I may call it Lucy, Sally, and, some whimsical name. They don't have to be defined by their terms. The bottom line is, it's the property of I. For security or defense of self, family, home, and others, and for lawful common defense, hunting, recreational use, and all other lawful purposes, and such rights shall not be denied or infringed by the state or any subdivision thereof. Subsidiary corporation sounds a little more fitting, but subdivision will work. I understand what they're saying. I comprehend what they're telling me. I know that they're saying that no corporation identified as a state can deny me my unalienable rights. Okay? And furthermore, any man that attempts to do so under the guise that he works for that organization, well, he put his nuts on the chopping block. And believe you me, I know how to take them. So, with that, thereof, to secure these rights and the protections of property, government are instituted amongst people, man and woman, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. Holy shit, you mean that if their rules, regulations apply to me, I have to consent to it? Oh my son of a bitch. We're learning, ain't we? Article 1, Section 2. Slavery is prohibited. There shall be neither slavery nor involuntary servitude in this state. Okay? Nebraska Constitution, Article 1, Section 2, 1875, amended in 2020, laws 2019. Due process of law, equal protection. All right. Now, these little scallywags, these lying, looting, pandering, fucking plundering thieves associated with a bar association proclaiming to be judges are really violating Title 18, 1661, piracy on our land. They're thieves. Like I said, the only calluses they've got on their hand isn't from fucking torquing wrenches and running shovels and putting in fence posts. It's from jerking off. That's the only calluses they got. They're worse than fucking Obama. That lousy fuck did nothing his entire life. Not a fucking thing. And somehow makes it to a leadership position because he shakes hands, kisses babies, and he's a smooth talker. Well, I'm a smooth motherfucker too, but I apply myself. And my calluses aren't from jerking off. Due process of law, Article 1, Section 3, equal protection. No person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. What is due process of law? Notice and opportunity. Okay? Clear, unambiguous language being utilized showing how I entered into a contract and how I owe you an obligation of any sort. Right? Nor be denied equal protection of the laws. Well, if I'm giving my full unlimited liability, but there is no opposition at the quote-unquote plaintiff's desk, well, is that equal protection of the law? What are they putting up? What do they got up front for a bond for bringing a claim against I? This is not equal protection of the law. I run the risk of losing my life over this deal. Do you? No? Okay, then where's your claimant? Where's the man or woman stating harm, injury, damage, or loss that I have caused them? I need them to come up here and testify with first-hand knowledge, stating how I've caused them harm, damage, loss. And furthermore, where was the meeting of the minds? When did I have the ability or the first-hand knowledge passed to me correctly so that I can address the subject matter and remove controversy and go back to honor and provide for the tranquility of the people of the nation, right? Wasn't had, so there's no equal protection of the law in their process. Religious freedom. All persons have a natural and indefeasible right to worship Almighty God according to the dictates. Now, I was talking to a probation officer in another state, and he said, "Oh, don't give me that God shit. That doesn't fucking matter. The United States was founded by a bunch of white bigots who were hell-bent on slavery and blah, 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 blah." Yes, not saying that it didn't. What I'm trying to tell you is that men have epiphanies in their life and soon realize that some of the things they've been engaged in may not be correct, and they alter the structure of their thinking. And this country was founded on the principles of sound, lofty Christian morality. God, according to the dictates of their own conscience, you know, the God conscience that's within you, no person shall be compelled to attend, erect, or support any place of worship against his consent, and no person shall be given by law to any religious society, nor shall any interference with the right of conscience be permitted. No person be incompetent to be a witness on account of his religious beliefs, but nothing herein shall be construed to dispense with oaths and affirmations. Religion, morality, and knowledge, however, being essential to the good government, it shall be the duty of the legislator to pass suitable laws to protect every religious denomination in a peaceable enjoyment of its own mode of public worship, and to encourage schools and the means of instruction. Article 1, Section 5. This is the Nebraska Constitution. And you guys, living in different states, republics, this book is very, very important to you. Okay, I'm going to show you how I get docket numbers for absolutely no fiat, because we don't need fiat to enforce the law. That's Barratray, okay? It's an abortion of justice. It's an obstruction of justice. It's a miscarriage of justice when they say, well, Joe Blow needs to pay a fee. Bullshit, all right? And then bulls do shit if you feed them enough. I know this because I've grown around bulls, all right? So, Article 1, Section 5, freedom of speech and press. Every person may freely speak, write, and publish on all subjects, being responsible for the abuse of that liberty. And in all trials for liable, both civil and criminal, the truth, when published with good motives and for justifiable ends, shall be sufficient defense. Article 1, Section 6, trial by jury. Notice how it says trial by jury, not jury trial. All right, the twisting of the language being unworthy of the judge. Dissimilar things should not be joined, and similar is most certainly not fucking same, ladies and gentlemen. So trial by jury is very much different from jury trial. The right of trial by jury shall remain inviolate, but the legislator may authorize trial by a jury of less number than 12 in courts inferior to the district court, and may general law authorize a verdict in civil cases in any court by not less than 5/6 of the jury. Article 1, Section 7, searches and seizures. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects. Ooh, that word person. Pretty tricky, isn't it? Against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the person or things to be seized. 1 second. Give me a shop rag here. All right. And we're back for the rest of the story. Article 1, Section 8, Habeas Corpus. The privilege of the writ of habeas corpus shall not be suspended. Article 1, Section 9, which is also Article 1, Section 8 of the United States Constitution. Bails, fines, imprisonments, cruel and unusual punishment. All persons shall be bailable by sufficient sureties, except for treason, sexual offenses involving penetration by force, or against the will of the victim, and murder, where the proof is evident of the presumption great, excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishment inflicted. Ladies and gentlemen, when you won't sign into their fucking jail system so they can get paid, and they get all bitter about it, so they decide to put you in solitary confinement, That is cruel and unusual punishment. When they're trying to extort you of your signature before they'll release you, that is cruel and unusual punishment, as well as extortion. When they're telling you that the bail is $50,000, 10% of which is $5,000, that is extortion, ladies and gentlemen. That's extortion, okay? And it's cruel and unusual punishment for a lot of reasons. One, they can't articulate what the fuck they actually want. They can't do it. They cannot tell you Federal Reserve notes. They're barred from doing so under Title 31. Note, in Hunt versus Roth, the court held that the portion of this section denying bail to person charged with certain sexual offenses is an unconstitutional violation of the Eighth Amendment to the Constitution of the United States, but the order in Hunt versus Roth was vacated and remanded in Murphy versus Hunt. Article 1, Section 10. Presentment or indictment by a grand jury information. No person, and the indictment, ladies and gentlemen, is the true bill, due, and owing. Write it down. For those of you that are wondering what a true bill, due, and owing looks at, go look at a grand jury indictment. That is a true bill, due, and owing. No person shall be held to answer for a criminal offense except in cases in which the punishment is by fine or imprisonment or otherwise, then in the penitentiary. In cases of impeachment and in cases arising in the Army and Navy or in the militia when in actual service in time of war or public danger, unless on presentment or indictment of a grand jury, provided that the legislator may by law provide for holding persons, there's that tricky fucking word again, persons, not man, not woman, persons, to answer for criminal offenses on information of a public prosecutor, and may by law abolish, limit, change, amend, or otherwise regulate the grand jury system. Now, the legislator doesn't have any control over the common law grand jury. What they have control over is their corporate reenactment of a grand jury, okay? Rights of the accused. In all criminal prosecution, the accused shall have the right to appear and defend in person or by counsel. Not an attorney, not a fucking lying, looting, pandering piece of shit lawyer, a fucking counsel, all right? Not attorney, not lawyer. To demand the nature and cause. Well, they always tell us the cause. They never tell us the nature. Because as soon as you figure out it's all about financial investments, securities, bonds, and monetizing your good signature, you're probably going to want a full accounting, aren't you? You're probably going to want to see both sides of that ledger. You're probably going to want to see where they funded this fucking felonious court case, aren't you? And I'll tell you a little secret. It was you. You funded the motherfucker, not them, of accusations, and to have a copy thereof, to meet the witnesses against him face to face. Now, it says witnesses. How come it doesn't actually say accuser, claimant, man or woman bringing a claim? Because it goes without fucking saying. If there's not a man making sworn testimony before the court independently bonding his case upon oath or affirmation, facing 1 year in jail and a $10,000 fine, plus losing his bond for bringing a frivolous case against you, a frivolous claim, well then, ladies and gentlemen, what say you? Do they have a case? Are the witnesses worth a shit? Or are they just over there spewing rhetoric, nonsensical bullshit, because there actually isn't a victim at all? In order to constitute a crime, there must be a man or woman making a claim. If there's not a man or woman making a claim, ladies and gentlemen, they lack jurisdiction. And all elements of jurisdiction must be proven on and for the official record before anybody can move forward in a trial or anything else. Jurisdiction can be challenged at any time. It can be challenged during the case. It can be challenged during the jury trial. It can be challenged after the fact. It can be challenged before the fact. Today, ladies and gentlemen, in preventative maintenance, you could challenge jurisdiction today even though you don't have anything going on. Nothing. That's called preventative maintenance. That's a good idea, to start practicing preventative maintenance. That's what I preach and teach the most, preventative maintenance. In all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall have the right to appear and defend in person or by counsel, to demand the nature and the cause of accusations, and to have a copy thereof, to meet the witnesses against him face to face, to have process to compel the attendance of witnesses in his behalf, and a speedy public trial by an impartial jury of the county or district in which the offense is alleged to have been committed. Not in some other fucking county in bumfuck Egypt, ladies and gentlemen. The county purportedly where the offense occurred. But here's the problem. See, they don't want to bring me back to the county where allegedly the offense occurred. You want to know why? Because their prosecutor couldn't keep his grubby little mitts off of me, and they expected me to be a barbarian and beat the belligerent piss out of him because of my history, all right? I am known for being a very physically violent man, and I'm known for putting people in the fucking hospital. You give me the right fucking reason, I'll put your dick in the dirt. Guaranteed every fucking time. Just because I'm a humble man, just because I'm a quiet man, does not mean that I am not a dangerous man. I will tell you this right fucking now, I got zero tolerance for bullshit. Now, they expected me to act as an enemy belligerent combatant against the prosecutor when I started hammering his ass for the bonds, where Title 26, 2032, AE 11 requires him to be bonded independently with the Treasury of the Secretary of the Treasury of Puerto Rico. All right? And I start hitting these people on this shit, and they're going, fuck you, you think you know something? Well, if I don't know something, why are you being so violent? Why are you traversing the subject matter and alleging that I threatened public officials? Because you know damn good and well if I threatened public officials, you wouldn't be physically violent with me. No. Rather, you would go ahead and press your claim against me for what you believe I may have or may have not said, and then you would have to prove the intent behind what I said. And so because you know that that's an uphill battle you'll never fucking win, you decide to get egregiously physical with me, and that prejudices your case in that county because they all know you're a lying, looting, pandering piece of shit, and it was live streamed, and you still haven't gone to jail for it, you little fucker. Yeah, where's that equal protection of the law now? Oh, yeah, you guys aren't allowed to put hands on people. I prosecute people for that shit, but when I do it, hey, far be it from me, I'm above the law. Uh-huh. Gotcha, you stupid little fucker. When in Rome, be Gandhi. Be peaceful. When in Rome, be Gandhi. Unless there's imminent threat, there's no need for me to really get tactically violent with you. All right? And I already know that if I'd have beaten his lumpy little ass like a Pillsbury doughboy that he is, he'd have smeared blood all over the wall and made it look like a fucking murder scene. All right? So, and the funniest thing about it is, he didn't call the cops. He didn't call the sheriff's department. He didn't try to have me removed from the courthouse on some fucking fallacy in his mind. Oh, no. He sought to provoke me. And when it didn't work, now he in trouble. Except for the fact that there is no equal protection of the law. They're not going to arrest their own, ladies and gentlemen. And if you don't believe me, all you gotta do is go back through my Facebook videos and you will clearly see where a prosecutor wearing sweatpants and a hoodie, okay, real professional gear while you're at work, by the way, Bubba. Far be it from me to tell you how to fucking dress, but if you want to be perceived to be knowledgeable and an expert in your field, you should probably fucking dress the part while you're at work. And wearing a name badge, all while alleging that he's no longer the prosecutor, I'm dealing with him as a man. Well, unfortunately, the lanyard you had around your neck that day said prosecuting attorney Stephen Robert Bowers on it, all right, you moron. And you happen to be on the clock, so you're assaulting and badgering people and battery on the clock. Not only that, but it's aggravated. So you actually got paid by the state of Nebraska to violate my unalienable rights, for which you're charged with the duty of persecuting people for the very fucking actions you exhibited? Boy, fucking nuttier than squirrel shit around here, I'll tell you. All right. To meet the witnesses against him face to face, to have process to compel the attendance of witnesses in his behalf, and to a speedy trial by an impartial jury of the county or district in which the offense is alleged to have been committed. Can't move it to Hall County, you jackasses, and where was my fucking fair notice and opportunity, and where was the hearing for doing so? You never did it, you're fucking retarded, and I haven't still received proper service of process. Fucking monkeys. Monkeys, I tell you. Article 1, Section 12. Evidence against self. Double jeopardy. No person shall be compelled in any criminal case to give evidence against himself or be twice put in jeopardy from the same offense. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a right to a trial by jury. That's it. You don't have a right to a preliminary hearing, an arraignment hearing, a fucking discovery hearing. All that shit is a trick to get you to fucking squawk and talk so they can use the evidence that you utter out of your mouth against you, because they really don't have a fucking shot in the dark of whooping your ass if you keep your mouth shut. You have a right not to incriminate yourself. I'm sorry I showed up today because I believe this was going to be a trial by way of jury. This isn't a trial by way of jury. Have a nice fucking day. And by the way, for inviting me to your bullshit meeting under the guise that if I didn't show up, you were going to fucking issue a warrant and arrest my ass, I'm going to bill you $50,000 for every bullshit meeting I have to come to. I suggest you get your poop in a group and you schedule that fucking trial by way of jury. Because the next bullshit meeting I come to, you will get a bill. And you know what? If you don't want to pay it, I'm going to fill it out on a W-4. I'm going to get your W-9. I'm going to claim that I'm a fucking employee that refuses, is asking your corporation, your principal, to withhold my pay. And then the IRS is going to come in and they're going to get their 13%. Plus, on the back end of it, I'm going to get whatever the fuck I put on that W-4. Because the IRS is going to see that I'm paid in tax credits, which are just as spendable as Federal Reserve notes, ladies and gentlemen. Tax credits are a form of currency. You can buy a house, you can buy a car, you can buy a business with tax credits. All right? Ha. Oh, the things you learn in this journey. Justice administered without delay. Okay? Legislators, authorization to enforce mediation and arbitration. This here is where your docket number for absolutely nothing, no payment, comes into play. Now listen. All courts shall be open. That's 24 hours a motherfucking day, 7 days a week. I can bring these cretins to a court of my choosing at any fucking time. Because the court is the four corners of the paper. The building is just where we're holding the venue. I could do my court at fucking McDonald's or a strip club if I feel the need. All right? And every person for any injury done to him or her in his or her lands, goods, persons, or reputation shall have a remedy by due course of law and justice administered without denial or delay. It means they can't charge you a fee in the interest of justice, ladies and gentlemen. You're not going to give me a docket number? That's obstruction of justice. It's an abortion of justice. It's an egregious encroachment on my unalienable rights. And I'm now going to bring a claim against you for obstruction of justice and denial of due process of law. You sure you want to go down that path with me? I'm just asking. All I can do is ask. I'm not threatening. I'm just telling you what I have to do if you're going to stay this course and push this cockamamie horse shit that somehow I've got to diminish my status as a man and fill out your bullshit documents that you securitize on the backside and cut me out of the profits and proceeds. The ball is in your court. Shall have a remedy by due course of law, justice administered without denial or delay, except that the legislator may provide for the enforcement of mediation, binding arbitration agreements, and other forms of dispute resolution which are entered into voluntarily and which are not revocable other than upon such grounds as exist at law or in equity for the revocation of any contract. What they're talking about with arbitration and agreements outside the court is your private administrative process to try and remedy the controversy before it makes it to the public venue. Okay, and that is due process of law. So don't misconstrue that as somehow the legislator had a fucking epiphany. They're just following due process of law and they're showing you what due process of law is. Okay? But in order to have arbitration, both parties, both men and women involved in the purported controversy, have to agree on one, who the arbitrator will be, make sure they're a disinterested third party and non-biased, and two, that arbitration is even plausible between the two of them. Maybe they don't want to do arbitration. Maybe they want to leave it to a judge. Who knows? That's their business. It's their prerogative. But they're just showing you due process of law. Okay, and to keep their court system kind of from getting boogered up by everybody bringing their claim, if we can settle it privately on the private side through mediation agreements and arbitration, then let's have that done, which is due process of law. Article 1, Section 14, this is one of my favorite. 12 jury members are definitely witnesses to this. Article 1, Section 14, treason against the state shall consist only in levying war against the state, or in adhering to its enemies, giving them aid and comfort. No person shall be convicted of treason unless on the testimony of 2 witnesses to the same overt act, or on confession in open court. I love open court. I love open court. Because that confession can be had by confession and avoidance. Failure to respond. Your failure to respond constitutes confession and avoidance, and you admit through your omission that you are guilty of high fucking treason, mixed war against the state of Nebraska and the state of Nebraska's constitution. Uh-oh. Lucy, you got some explaining to do. So, let's move forward. Article 1, Section 15, penalties, corruption of blood, transporting out of the state prohibited. All penalties shall be proportioned to the nature of the offense, and no conviction shall work corruption of blood or forfeiture of estates. Nor shall any person be transported out of the state for any offense committed within the state. Okay? The Bill of Attainder, revocation laws, and contracts, special privileges. Now, this is one of my favorite ones. Listen, because I'm going to explain it to you, because it's not, even though it's written in plain English, most people don't understand these fucking words. No Bill of Attainders. A speeding infraction is a bill of fucking attainder. It's got 2 signatures on it. It's a security. It's an extortion under the guise that it's the law and you have to sign and we're going to put you in a cage and blah, 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 blah. It's a bill of fucking attainder. Ex post facto laws. Anything that's repugnant to the fucking Constitution, ladies and gentlemen, is an ex post facto fucking law. Color of law, color of authority, oppression under color of authority, oppression under color of law, ex post facto law. Or law impairing the obligation of contracts. Oh, yeah. What? Article 1, Section 16 of the Nebraska Constitution is the same as Article 1, Section 10 of the American Constitution? Jinkies. I think we've discovered something here. Let's just think about this for a minute. Or law impairing the obligation of contracts. Man can contract with another man, and the government cannot egregiously encroach upon their private contract. They have zero authority. Period. Unless the 2 men enter into a contract and then somehow somebody falls into default. Now the government takes interest only to resolve the controversy so people aren't getting shot in the street for their bullshit, right? This is such a beautiful thing. Or making any irrevocable grant of special privileges or immunities shall be passed. You hear that? There is no qualified immunity for any of these agents and agency. When they tell you that shit, they're attempting to get you to remain silent on the record and extend your foreign sovereign immunity to them by acquiescence. Silent agreement. Okay? Had a judge sit on the bench one day and go, I've got 11th Amendment qualified immunity. Ha, 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 ha. And I looked at him and said, hey, jackass, only if I extend to you my foreign sovereign immunity do you have fucking immunity. And I'm willing to do that so long as you ride the fucking line, buddy. Ride the line and I'll ensure your protection and that you're immune from any suit, from any piss poor decision you may make that your fellow fucking constituents may think is egregious against their principle. I will extend you fucking immunity. You don't have 11th Amendment qualified immunity, you motherfucker. That presupposes there's anything called law in this nation. He got real quiet, real fucking fast. Shortly after, he said, I think you need a mental health evaluation. Certainly, I agree, as long as all of us are going to the funny farm. That's called a quid pro quo. He goes, what'd you say? I said, a quid pro quo is in order. You want me to go to the nut house? I want you to go to the nut house. We can all go to the fucking nut house. And it'll be a fucking blast for me because I love crazy people. You, on the other hand, I don't think you'd be quite comfortable in there. I bet it'd probably be a little bit unnerving to be around some people that you believe supposedly are insane. And more than likely, the fact that you're a silent investor in the fucking loony bin as it sits Can't prove that, but most of these people are invested in the places that they send you, like the child youth centers, the funny farms. They're all invested in this shit as silent partners through trust and things of that nature. So it's really hard to tie them to it. Because remember, a beneficiary doesn't have to be known. Trustee doesn't have to exist in order for a trust will not fail for want of a trustee. The beneficiary doesn't have to know that they're the beneficiary. And furthermore, if you can't find the trustee, nobody has to disclose who the real parties of interest are. All right. Oh, man. Yeah, you know it. So, military subordinate. Article 117. Section 17. The military shall be in strict subordination to civil power. Who's the civil power? That's we, the fucking people. Article 1, Section 18. Soldiers' quarter. Now, this applies when rogue agents and agency decide to put their foot in your fucking door jam, all right? No soldier shall in time of peace be quartered in any house without the consent of the owner, nor in time of war except in the manner prescribed by law, all right? They don't have a right to put their foot in your fucking door. Move your foot and I'm going to blow that fucker off with a shotgun. You'll walk with a limp the rest of your life and realize why you're a limp dick son of a bitch, because that was the day you put your foot in my fucking door and I told you to remove it. That's simple. There are some things in this world worth dying for, and that's sound doctrines and fucking principles. You give me liberty, or you give me death, you stupid motherfuckers, and we're dueling in the fucking street. That's how it works. You gotta have that fucking heart, damn it. Get over this, I'm gonna be nice and fucking sweet and get everything because these people will see the errors in their way. Sometimes you gotta beat the shit out of them. Article 1, Section 19, right of peaceable assembly and to petition the government. The right of the people to peaceably to assemble, to consult for the common good and petition the government, your right of redress of grievance, or any department thereof shall never, ever, ever fucking be abridged. Period. Article 1, Section 20, imprisonment for a debt prohibited. Now, a lot of people go, well, they're putting me in jail for a debt. No. They are not putting you in jail for a debt. Pay attention to what the fuck I'm about to tell you, because this is their dirty little secret. They are putting you in jail for breach of fucking contract. A unilateral contract, whether you knowingly or unknowingly entered into, that is what they're putting you in jail for. Breach of fucking contract. It isn't for a debt. Okay? But we're going to read this anyway. Imprisonment for a debt. No person shall be imprisoned for debt in any civil action on mesne or final process. Article 1, Section 21. Private property compensated for. Now, this goes into what I was telling you guys about last night. You don't have to contract with the fucking DMV, which is a private for-profit corporation in bed with the state to generate revenue off our fucking ignorance. You don't have any obligation to contract with these fuckheads. And where do I get my authority to say fuck you? Well, this isn't just where I get my authority, but it's one of them. Article 1, Section 16. Law impairing the obligation to contract. I don't have to contract with you. And you can't prohibit me or force me to do so. Period. Article 1, Section 21. Private property compensated for. The property of no person. There's that tricky word again. Person. Isn't it interesting they never say fucking man, woman? No property of no man shall be taken or damaged for public use without just compensation therefor. I love that word, compensation. That's one of my favorite ones. What does that mean, ladies and gentlemen? Well, if it's your property, what say you? Can they force you to register it with their organization so they can issue you a colorable title? And what say you? If the bill of sale isn't the actual fucking title because they destroyed the MSO and don't have the original, what do they need the bill of sale for anyway? Why do they need it? If the bill of sale isn't the fucking title, then what the fuck do they need it for? You see, I know the bill of sale's the fucking title, and they can kiss my ass. I'm not giving it to you. I'm not surrendering it to you. And you can try and extort me all fucking day long, but I'll tell you one thing, you are not going to like me here in about the next 90 days. Guaranteed. Lord, give me strength to do what's right, just, and fair. I will forgive you. That doesn't mean there isn't just compensation due and owing. So, just the same. Hey, how are you?
Hey, good.
What do you know?
I love things here.
Oh, you're all right. Oh, you're fine. So, that deals with private property, compensation for it. You realize that your private property are, in fact, your rights. All right? Your rights are property, and your property are your rights, and without one, you don't have the other. Very, very simple shit. Okay, it's elementary. Article 1, Section 22, election to be free. All elections shall be free, except for the one with Joe Biden, Joe Bummer, and fucking Obama, Osama, and his mother. And there shall be no hindrance or impediment to the right of a qualified voter to exercise the elective franchise. Well, we all know that's bullshit, except for the dead people. Dead people seem to have more fucking freedom and rights than you do. Of course, their votes are never stricken from the record. Isn't that fucking amazing? And they're not even alive anymore. Amend the law. Person equals man. Use as your bylaws. Correct. The only place that your vote actually counts is in that fucking courtroom, ladies and gentlemen, when you are members of a jury, and it's not under special verdict, it's general verdict, where you decide the law and the facts. Capital case, right of direct appeal effect, or other cases, right of appeal. In all capital cases, appeal directly to the Supreme Court shall be as a matter of right and shall operate as a suspendus to stay the execution of the sentence of death until further order of the Supreme Court. In all other cases, criminal or civil, an aggrieved party shall be entitled to one appeal to the appellate court created pursuant to Article 5, Section 1 of this Constitution, or to the Supreme Court as may be provided by law. Article 1, Section 24 was repealed. Article 1, Section 25, rights of property, no discrimination, aliens. There shall be no discrimination between citizens of the United States in respect to the acquisition, ownership, possession, enjoyment, or descent of property. Well, if they're forcing you to register, if they continue to take your property, if they continue to steal from you without compensating you, are they hindering you from your life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness to enjoy the property of I? Yes, they are. The right of aliens in respect to the acquisition, enjoyment, and descent of property may be regulated by law. What law are they speaking of? Natural law. If it isn't fucking yours, don't fucking touch it. It's that simple. Article 1, Section 26, power retained by the people. Well, this reminds me of Article 1, Section 9 of the United States Constitution. Funny how these documents seem to coincide with one another. And the federal lords over the state just making sure the state isn't egregiously encroaching upon our rights. Okay? This enumeration of rights shall not be construed to impair or deny others retained by the people, and all powers not herein delegated remain with the people. Period. Why they're not teaching this in school? I know why. They don't want you to be intuitive. They don't want you to stand up and tell them to fuck off. They enjoy the fact that you engage in peaceful slavery. They love it. They fucking love it. English language. To be official. Article 1, Section 27. Oh, this is damning. You mean to tell me legalese is not English? That it's not recognized by the Chicago Styles Manual? That some of the most prolific and profound professors in the world clearly say that the all caps name and anything in all capital letters is not authorized and does not constitute English? 1. Article 1, Section 27, English language to be official. The English language is hereby declared to be the official language of this state, and all official proceedings, records, and publications shall be in such language. Oh. Uh-oh. Can I get your innocent explanation as to why this document here is all bungled up and looks like your computer had a fit or your printer went AWOL and started printing all this capital letter shit on there? I need somebody to explain to me what this horseshit is all over this page, because it sure doesn't appear to be the English language, which per Article 1, Section 27 is the official language of this state. And in order to have an ascension of the minds, a meeting of the minds, we have to understand everything that's on this document. And the common school branches shall be taught in said language in public, private, denominational, and parochial school. Parochial. Parochial schools. All right. Article 1, Section 28. Victims, crime victims, rights enumerated, effect, legislators, and duties. A victim of a crime, as shall be defined by law, or his or her guardian or representative shall have the right to be informed of all criminal court proceedings, the right to be present at trial unless the trial court finds sequestration necessary for a fair trial for the defendant, and the right to be informed of, be present at, and make oral written statements at sentencing, parole, pardon, communication, and conditional release proceedings. This enumeration of certain rights for crime victims shall not be construed to impair or deny others provided by law or retained by crime victims. All right. Number 2, legislators shall provide by law for the implementation of the rights granted in this section. There shall be no remedies other than as specifically provided by the legislator for the enforcement of the rights granted by this section. Number 3, nothing in this section shall constitute a basis for error in favor of a defendant in any criminal proceedings, a basis for providing standing to participate as a party to any criminal proceeding, or a basis to consent the disposition of any charge. Well, they go into marriage and sex, extermination grants, preferential treatment, public employees, public education, or public contracting sections. How construed remedies. With that, I will leave you be. I hope you enjoyed this little lesson. We're back in the old Tiki Shack, Bourbon Shack here. Tiki Lounge. Yeah, that be right up there. That be the Tiki. She recently passed away. But anyway, I hope this helps you guys out. I give freely to the best of my ability because in order to correct this shit show, I need a bunch of you to stand up and sound off like you got a fucking pair. Whether it's proverbial or you physically got a set of testicles, I need you to stand the fuck up and do what's right, just, and fair, in good conscience, for good reason, and in good faith. All right? Because if we don't, your offspring are F-U-C-K-E-D. Let's say it together. Fucked. So stand up and sound off. Enough being nice. We've had enough of the bullshit. It's time to educate yourself. It's time to liberate yourself. Freedom has never been free. That's the greatest fucking illusion in American history. Freedom is not fucking free. Stand up and sound the fuck off. I love you guys. Thanks for all your support. We'll talk to you soon.